Magandang araw! April Marcas po, ang inyong pretty ate sa Edtech Unit. Alam ba ninyo na may webinar o online training session ng Edtech Unit tuwing Sabado? Ang araw na ito ay nakalaan para sa ating mga mahal na kaguruan upang turuan sila ng mga bagong kaalaman at kakayahan sa paggamit ng makabagong software at applications para sa pinaka-epektibong paraan at lubos mapaghusay ang kanilang paraan ng pagtuturo. This is also a refresher session for our beloved teachers to enhance their skills in technology. Every Saturday, we will conduct webinar sessions for teachers about the use, advantages, and relevance of different blended learning software applications. Ang webinar seryeng ito ay magsisimula ng alas 9 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali para sa morning session. Magsisimula naman ng alauna at magtatapos ng alas 4 ng hapon ang afternoon session. You can watch us in our DepEd Edtech Unit Facebook page, Educational Technology Unit YouTube channel, DepEd tayo and DepEd Philippines. Kita-kits tayo tuwing Sabado!
Magandang araw! Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del P. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Yes, hello. Happy Friday sa lahat ng mga viewers natin dyan. Welcome to our DepEd Online Tutorial ETUlay sa ating Happy Friday, Matalino Day Friday. Kasama of course ang inyong tutor of Hill para sa Mathematics 7 na pansamantala pong hahalili sa ating tutor Rose. Ayan. At bago ang lahat, tawag po natin kalimutan na i-like at i-share ang ating mga DepEd Facebook pages, ang DepEd Philippines, DepEd Edtech Unit, DepEd TV at DepEd Tayo. At huwag din pong kalimutan na mag-subscribe sa ating official YouTube channel, ang DepEd Philippines Educational Technology Unit at DepEd TV Official para sigurado pong mas marami pa tayong mga learners na makakasamang matututo at sigurado pong marami po tayong makakasama every time na magkakaroon tayo dito ng programa para sa Department of Education. Yan. So bago tayo magsimula, batiin lang po natin ang ating mga kasamang viewers na nanonood na ngayong hapong ito. Good afternoon, watching from Ingud Ramon Integrated School, Agandanan, West District, Isabela, si Catlea Soriano. Ganyan din kay Joshua Pasion from Grade 7 Einstein, watching from Lalo National High School, SDO Cagayan, Region 2. At kila Nelea at kay Grace Makalandag Malihana from Kapalong, East Davnor Division, Laarni May Morales, watching from Davao de Oro, at kila Gina Varela Tutor, at kila Princess Samantha Katipan, watching from General Trias Cavite, at kila Princess Gwyneth Evora, watching from Santo Niño National High School, at kila Cecil Balgua, Memi Claret from Plaridel, Misamis Occidental. Ayan, ang dami nating mga viewers at sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas. Ayin from Tagkawayan National High School, Tagkawayan, Quezon, at kila Princess Gwyneth Evora na kanina binati na rin natin. Isang magandang hapon po sa lahat ng ating mga kasama this afternoon. At sa lahat po ng mga hindi pa po natin mga classmates natin na wala pang attendance this afternoon, na i-share nyo na po ang ating link para po siguradong makasunod din po sila sa ating discussion for this afternoon. And let us start. Katulad nga po ng sinabi ko kanina, tayo po ay nasa Mathematics 7 para po sa quarter 4, week 6. At ang pag-uusapan natin ay tungkol sa measures of variability. Ayan. So, ang bilis ng panahon, di ba? Week 6 na agad tayo. 2 weeks to go. At tapos na natin ang school year at naituloy natin at naitawid natin ang pagkatuto ng bawat kabataang Pilipino. Ayan. At batiin din natin nakahabol sa Lorraine Ann Atabay from Lalo Cagayan at si Angelica Big Rengel from STO Cagayan Region 2. So katulad ng sinabi ko, ako po ay humalili lamang sa ating tutor na si Tutor Rose Ann sapagkat meron po siyang ginagawa lamang na mahalaga ngayong araw po na ito. At lagi po siyang abangan tuwing Friday, Matalino Day Friday from 1:40 p.m. to 2:20 p.m. para po sa ating Mathematics 7. And ano nga ba ang ating layunin for this afternoon? Our objectives are, number one, we will be able to define terms related to measures of variability. Number two, we will be able to calculate the measures of variability of a given set of ungrouped and grouped data. And number three, demonstrate appreciation on the importance of the measures of variability. So, lahat ng mga layunin nating ito ay susubukan nating tapusin sa 40 minutes na session natin this afternoon. So, let us start by defining what is measures of variability. Measures of variability is a summary statistics that describes how far apart data points lie from each other and from the center of the data set. So, the definition from itself, di ba sabi, ito raw ay magpapaliwanag ng mga data points, kumbaga kung gaano kalalayo ng mga pagitan bisa statistics din. Okay? So papaliwanag natin ng mas malalim yan maya-maya lamang base sa ating mga halimbawa. Okay, so there are 4 measures of variability. Number 1, we have what we call the range. Range is the difference between the largest and the smallest value in the data set. So, kapag meron tayong given data, kukuhanin lamang natin yung pinakamababa at pinakamataas. Tapos, i-multiply isusubtract natin yung ating smallest value from our largest value, and that is what we call range already. So, mamaya ipapakita natin kung paano sinasolve ang range. So, example, ungrouped data. So, we will determine which data is more variability than the other using range. Data A, we have 2, 6, 9, 11, and 15. Data B, we have 5, 7, 8, 10, and 13. We will be able to compute for range. Sabi natin, largest value minus smallest value. In data A, paano natin makukompute ang range? Solution, for the data A, we will have 15 minus 2 is equal to 13. And for data B, the range for data B is equal to 13 minus 5 is equal to 8. Sabi ni Ray Mangubat, data A po has the more variability. Tama ba? That is correct. Dahil mas mataas ang range or yung na-compute na range base dun sa given ng data A. So that is correct. Very good. Watching them from Lalo National High School, si Ednaline Burbano Samonte. Good afternoon. Okay. So the answer shows that data A has a broader range than data B. Therefore, data A has more variability than data B. Ayan. So sabi ni Joshua Passion, data A daw was broader. Yan, that is correct. Very good. Okay, tama yan. Okay, so wait lang ha. Medyo nag-ahang ng konti ang ating slides. So next natin, let's have example number 2 for the group data naman. The following table represents the age group of 100 grade 7 students of Mabinay National High School. Our objective is to find the range of this given example. So how are we going to do that? Paano ba natin isosolve ang range for a group data? So kanina, sinolve natin ang range for ungroup data. Ngayon naman, isosolve natin ang range for the group data. Okay, next. So how are we going to solve this? Okay, um, so what will be the answer? So ang gawin natin, di ba, age group 11 to 13, the number of students are 25. Under 13 to 15, the number of students is 30. Under 15 to 17, the number of students is 35. Under 17 to 19, the number of students is 10. To solve for the range under the group data, range is equal to largest value minus slowest or the smallest value. R is equal to 19 minus 11. R is equal to 8. So, paano ginawa daw to? Paano daw nakuha? How did we get the smallest value on this given? Or how did we get the range? Paano kaya sinolve? Kung papansinin nyo, sa age group, ang highest value or largest value ay 19. At ang lowest o smallest value ay 11. So, sinubtract lamang yung ating lowest value from the largest value. Kaya from 19 minus 11, nakuha ang 8. Therefore, we can determine the range for the group data by simply looking for the highest value of the range nung sa age group, nung sa pinaka-boundary, which is 19, minus the smallest value, which is 11. Kaya nakuha natin is 8. That is correct. Joshua Passion, ang galing. Importante na sundan natin kung paano kinukuha ang range for that. Very good. Now, let us have another one. We can also solve for the measures of variability using what we call the average deviation. So let us define first average deviation. Average deviation of a set scores is calculated by computing the mean and then the specific distance between each score and that mean without regard to whether the score is above or below the mean. It is also called a mean absolute deviation. Yes, hello, good afternoon, Atasha May Tabajero Sikat from Bolinao Integrated School. Ayun. So, ang average deviation daw ay nakakalculate by simply computing the mean and then chinecheck lang yung distance from the score and the mean without regard whether the score is above or below the mean. I-check lamang kung mas mataas ba sa mean or mas mababa ba sa mean. So that is what we call average deviation. So for group data, the formula is the mean average deviation is equal to 1 over n summation of what? Summation of the lower boundary I is equal to 1 is to n, the absolute value of the score or x minus the mean. Okay? Wherein the MAD is equal to the mean absolute deviation, n equals represents the number of observations, x represents the observation, and x bar represents the mean. Yes, hello then. Good afternoon, Brittany, Lucila, Celeste. Magandang hapon. Okay. So let's have an example. We are about to find the mean absolute deviation for the given data 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. So solution, we need to look for the average first wherein we will have, paano ba kinukuha yung mean? Average lang yun, di ba? We will about to add 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11 plus 13 over 6. Bakit over 6? Because there are 6 number of data or 6 items on the given. That's why we divide the given into 6. Okay? From there, you will have 48 divided by 6 and that will be 8, wherein 8 will serve as our mean. Yes, hello, good afternoon then, Bon Rexel Empleo from Bolinao Integrated School. Tapos, let us solve for the mean absolute deviation using the formula that is 1 over n summation of wherein I is equal to 1 is to n, absolute value of x minus mean. Yes, good afternoon, Hannah Nicole Villarreal from Bolinao Integrated School. Ayan, medyo pinapahapyawan natin ang pagbate para hindi naman kayo masyadong mag-information overload dyan. Pero para masabayan ninyo, kumuha kayo ng papel later, tapos pwede kayong mag-solve din habang nagsosolve tayo or habang di-discuss ko sa inyo yung presentation. Okay, so sabi dyan, di ba, yung I or yung summation of I is to N dyan, Ibig sabihin po nun ay lahat ng value kailangan nating gamitan ng absolute value ng row score minus the mean. So mapapansin niyo 'di ba, yung sa given na 3 minus 8, yung absolute value ng 3 minus 8 plus absolute value of 5 minus 8 plus absolute value of 7 minus 8 plus the absolute value of 9 minus 8 plus the absolute value of 11 minus 8 plus the absolute value of 13 minus 8. Sir or tutor of Hill, bakit po laging may absolute value? Take note of this. Kailangan nating gamitin or kailangan nating consider absolute value because we're getting the positive sign of the result. Hindi natin kinukuha yung negative sign of this. That's why we need the absolute value symbol, yung pinaka-bar na nakikita natin. That is what we call the absolute value. Okay. Yes, good afternoon then, Rhea Limbo from Bolinao Integrated School. And of course, good afternoon from Chensi Jane Kalaaman. Yes, that's correct. Kalaaman from Bolinao Integrated School. So sabi ko kanina, absolute value, di ba? So let us try to explain that one mas malalim ng konti. Hello, Princess Catalio from Bolinao Integrated School. So we have 3 minus 8, sabi natin. Kapag kinuha natin ang 3 minus 8, that will be equivalent to negative 5. Tama ba? Kasi mas mababa yung 3 kesa sa 8. But since we have this what we call the absolute value symbol or yung pinaka line bar na ito, ang kukuhain natin is the positive sign of this given and that will give you 5. Kaya kung mapapansin niyo sa ating mga given, ito, bilugan natin, naging 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5. Yan, lahat ng sagot positive na over 6. And then that will give you 5 plus 3 is what? 8 plus 1 is 9 plus 1 is 10 plus 3 is 13 plus 5 is 18 over 6. That is, the answer is 3. Therefore, the mean absolute deviation is equal to 3. Yes, hello, good afternoon then kay Keisha, Macy, and Rile. Magandang hapon. Ayan. So that will become 18 divided by 6 is equal to 3. Ayun. Ang galing. Nakuha ng ating mga learners. Yan, ng ating mga grade 7 learners. Burahin lang natin para hindi tayo malito sa example. Ayan. So, okay, next. Hello, this Shai Rondal. Magandang hapon din. Let us continue. For group data naman, our formula will be mean or the mean absolute deviation is equal to 1 over n times the summation of f times the absolute value of x minus the mean, wherein the mean absolute MAD is equal to the mean absolute deviation, n is equal to represents the number of observations. So the total the total number of observations, and then yung x represents the observation, yung x bar represents the mean, and f is the frequency. Ayon. So let us continue. The following table represents the age group of 100 grade 7 students of Mabinay National High School. Our objective is to find the MAD or the mean absolute deviation. Good afternoon then, Lorife Pocong Escuadro, and good afternoon then, Kyrie Chong. Magandang hapon. So our given age group, 11 to 13, there are 25 students. 13 to 15, there are 30 students. 15 to 17, there are 35 students. 17 to 19, there are 10 students. Now, to solve for this, we will use the formula. So, kukuhanin muna natin ng frequency. The total number of items or number of observations is 100. Paano nakuha yung 100? Inad lamang ang lahat ng mga frequency under the different age groups. And then, kinuha natin yung f times x or yung frequency times x. Paano nakuha yung x? Paano daw nakuha si x? Ito, pakita natin ha. Paano nakuha tong class marks? This one. Sorry, naguhitan ko. Paano nakuha ang class mark? Yan, ano na lang natin? Yan. Paano ba nakuha ang class mark? Ang class mark nakuha dun sa pinaka midpoint ng ating age group. How did you get the midpoint? Kukuhanin lamang natin ang gitna. Ito, ang midpoint ng ating age group. Sa 11 to 13, ang gitna ng 11 to 13 ay 12. That's why ang class mark will be 12. Sa 13 to 15, ang class mark is 14. Sa 15 to 17, ang class mark ay 16. Sa 17 to 19, ang class mark ay 18. Nakuha ba kung paano makuha yung class mark? Okay, that is correct. Now, dahil nakuha natin ang class mark or the class midpoint, i-multiply lamang natin ang frequency. Ito yung frequency natin. Ayan, nakikita nyo ba? Ito ang ating frequency given. Yan, ito. Let us put a box on the frequency. Ayan. And then, burayin natin muna ng konti. Medyo makalat. ayan. So, ito ang ating frequency, mga grade 7 learners. And then, kung mapapansin ninyo, na minultiply lang ating frequency dun sa ating class mark. 25 times 12 is 300. 30 times 14 is 420. 35 times 16 is 560. And 10 times 18 is 180. And then, x minus what? X minus the mean. So, we will have now 25. How do we do that? Yung frequency daw, i-multiply dun sa, saan daw? Yung frequency, i-multiply dun sa ating x, sa absolute value ng x minus mean. Okay. So, therefore, we will have daw 65, 18, 49, 34. Nasundan ba? And then, the total nun will be 166. Sabihin, tutor, paano po nakuha yung mean? We solve for mean. Ayan, paano natin kinuha yung mean? Ang ating mean will be 1 over 100, tapos frequency times x, yung 1,460 over 100. So, mean will become 14.6. So, ibig sabihin, sinubtract lang natin yung ating, let's say for example, 12 minus 14.6. Tapos, kinuha natin yung absolute value. Tapos, minultiply natin sa frequency, kaya nakuha yung 65. Na-gets? Nakuha ba? Okay, medyo nalito na siguro ang ating mga grade 7 learners. Pakita natin ha. Sabi natin ang ating mean ay 14.6. Ayan. Dahil 14.6 ang ating mean, ibig sabihin po, isusubtract lang natin yung ating mean dun sa ating mga frequency ngayon. Sa ating mga class marks. I'm sorry. So, you will have 14.6 minus 12. Then, makukuha natin yung ating absolute value. So, what is 14.6 minus 12? That is 2.6. Tama? I-multiply natin ang ating 2.6 sa saan daw? Sa ating i-multiply sa 25. Ayan, bumalik na siya. Ayan, sa ating 25. So, that's 25. Kaya makukuha naman natin ang 65. That is a frequency, tama? Okay. So, let us try to get that one. So, yung ating na-solve from the mean ay minultiply lang natin or na-subtract the absolute value, i-multiply lang natin sa frequency. That's why we get this 65, 18, 49, and 34. Yes, hello, good afternoon. And Denise Jamel Ramiso and Preciosa Cabintoy from Bacolod City. Good afternoon. Tapos, kukuhain natin ang ating mean absolute deviation. Ayan. So, we will have now the frequency, yung ating given, 166 daw ito, yung total. So, we will have now 1 over 100 times 166. So, therefore, our mean absolute deviation is equal to 1.5. 66. Ayan. Nakuha po? Nakuha ba? Kung paano natin sinolve? Ayan. Okay, now let us continue. Let us proceed to the third measures of variability. Ang pangatlong way to find the measures of variability is what we call variance. Ngayon, kapag sinabing variance, variance is the average of the square difference of the values from the mean. It is, again, the average of the square difference of the values from the mean. So, for the ungroup data, makikita nyo itong symbol na ito. This is what we call variance. So, variance is equal to 1 over n times the summation of x, or the quantity x minus x, or the mean, raised to the second power, wherein yung nakita yung symbol represents the variance, n equals represents the number of observations, x represents the observation, and x bar represents the mean. Okay. Yes, hello, Elisa Corpus. Good afternoon from LICAB. Example, the following are the height of 5 students of grade 7 Rosal: 149 centimeters, 157 centimeters, 155 centimeters, 147 centimeters, and 152 centimeters. Find out the variance of their heights. Solution. Kunahanin muna natin ang mean. Remember, for you to get the mean or the average, kukuhanin lang natin what we're going to do is i-add lang natin lahat at i-divide natin sa number of observations. We will now add 149 plus 157 plus 155 plus 147 plus 152 divided by 5. That will be equal to 760 divided by 5, which is equivalent to 152. Therefore, the average or the mean on this given is 152. Ngayon, isosolve lang natin using substitution. Ayun, may sagot na si Joshua Passion. Sabi niya, 760 po ang total. That is correct. Very good. Tapos i-divide natin sa 5, which is the number of observations. So, therefore, you will now have the variance is equal to 1 over n times the summation of the quantity x minus mean raised to the second power. Therefore, you will have now variance is equal to, lahat ngayon i-subtract natin dun sa ating mean. Quantity 149 minus 152 squared plus quantity 157 minus 152 squared plus quantity 155 minus 152 squared plus quantity 147 minus 152 squared plus quantity 152 minus 152 squared over 5. And then, our variance will become 9. Bakit naging 9? That is 3 times 3. 25, that is 5 times 5. 9, 3 times 3. 25, that's 5 times 5. And 0, dahil wala namang naging sagot, or automatic 152 minus 152 is 0, times 0 is still 0, divided by 5. Therefore, the variance on this given will be equal to 68 over 5, which means the answer is 13.6. Ayun, that is correct. Very good, Galing. And for group data, to solve for the group data, we will have now the frequency from the variance is equal to 1 over n times the summation of the frequency times the quantity x minus mean raised to the second power, wherein variance is equal to, the symbol gives you the variance, n represents the number of observations, x represents the observation, x bar represents the mean, and f represents the frequency. Yes, hello, good afternoon, Tutor Senpai Carl or Tutor Carl Tadeo, watching from Olongapo City National High School. Ayan, magandang hapon. Ayun, may sagot na si Catlea Soriano kanina. Sabi niya, that is 13.6. And nagpa-attendance check na rin ang ating Sir Mark Edward A. Lugtu from Mabalacat, Pampanga. Good afternoon po, sir. Okay, so tuloy lang natin. dahil na-define na natin ang bawat part ng ating equation or formula, we will now about to substitute the given. From the following table represents the age group of 100 grade 7 students of Mabinay National High School. Our objective is to find the variance. Age group will be equal to 11 to 13, wherein the number of students are 25. 13 to 15, there are 30 students. 15 to 17, there are 35 students. And 17 to 19, there are 10 students. Now, our objective is to find the variance using this example. And we will use the formula for the group data. So to solve for the group data or for the variance for the group data, kailangan alamin muna natin ang ating class mark ulit. So how are we going to solve for class mark? Remember that in order for us to solve for class mark or para malaman natin yung class mark, ang hahanapin lamang natin ay yung midpoint ng ating age group or ng pinaka-class boundaries. So sa ating age group, 11 to 13, ang class mark is 12 dahil ang pinaka-midpoint or ang gitna ng 11 to 13 ay 12. Same as 13 to 15, ang class mark will be 14. 15 to 17, class mark will be 16. And 17 to 19, the class mark will be 18. And then the frequency times x. So, multiply lamang natin yung frequency times the class mark. That will be 25 times 12 is 300. 30 times 14 is 420. 35 times 16 is 560. 10 times 18 is 180. And then just to get the sum of everything, the summation will be 1,460. Yes, hello, good afternoon kay Mitzi Lorraine Dokulan, watching from Bolinaw Integrated School. Hello, good afternoon po. Okay, let us continue. Ayan, pinakita na ni Joshua, sabi niya, that is 12, 14, 16, 18. That is correct. Very good. Now, we will have now x minus x bar or the class mark minus the mean. So, ang ating class mark 12, paano ba natin nakuha ang mean dyan? So, sinolve natin ang ating mean by getting the average using the group data. So, we will have negative 2.6, negative 0.6, positive 1.4, and 3.4. And then, we multiply lang ang ating given dun sa in square na ating mean. So, we will have the answer 169, 10.8, 68.6, 115.6, and that will give you a total of 364. Yes, hello, good afternoon then kay Tutor Jessica Borromeo watching from Abuyod National High School, Teresa Sub-Office SDO Rizal. Magandang hapon. Ayan. Okay, so now let us continue. To solve for the variance, we will have the mean. We will about to compute for the mean first. Sabi natin para makuha yung mean, that is summation of fx over n. So, nung nakuha natin yung fx or summation of fx, that is 1,460 over 100 since 100 is the number of observations. Therefore, the mean is equal to 14.6. Now, we will solve for the variance. Variance is 1 over n times summation of f times quantity x minus x bar raised to the second power. We will have now 364 over 100, and that will give you the variance of 3.64. Ayun, may sagot na si Joshua. Sabi niya 14.6. Katlea Soriano, that is 14.6. Correct. Very good. Okay, so lahat ng mga nakakasunod, that is 2 thumbs up para sa inyo. Very good. Tama yan. At sa lahat naman ng medyo nalilito pa, walang problema. Pwede tayong magtanong sa kay Tutor Rose Ann, or pwede naman ding mag-direct sa akin sa Facebook ko sa Simply Avhil or sa Facebook account ko Avhil Mino, or pumasok tayo sa bilang magkakaklase sa hashtag Team Replay. Ayan. Ayun, may sagot na si Lorraine Atabay. Sabi niya 3.64. Katlea 3.64. That is correct. Very good. Na-solve na nila. Now, let's have the fourth way to get the measures of variability. Joshua Passion, that is correct. Variance is 3.64. Standard deviation naman tayo. So, balikan lang muna natin sa review. Number 1, ano nga daw yung unang paraan para daw ma-measure or para daw ma-solve ang measures of variability? Number 1 is using by range. Ayan. Number 2, ano nga daw yung number 2? Sige nga, hintayin natin ang sagot ng ating mga classmates. Diyan. Let us check, let us check. Ayan. Ayun, so sabi, magandang hapon kay Tutor RJ Calaguas na sobrang na-inspire sa mga students natin na magaling sa math. Ayun, so okay. Yun sabi ni Joshua, that is range. Katlea Soriano, range. Si Joshua sabi niya average deviation. Ano pa ba? Ano pa ba ang ginamit natin? Pangatlong pinag-aralan natin ay variance. Tama? Okay. Sumagot din si Sir Mark Edward. Si Lorraine Atabay, sabi niya average deviation. So, we already learned three different ways how to solve for the measures of variability. Number one, we have the mean or the range, I mean. And then number two, we have average deviation. Number three is yung variance. And last, the standard deviation. Okay. Standard deviation is just the square root of variance. This measure variability gives us a standard way of knowing what is normal and what is extra large or extra small. Okay. Now, sabi daw, what is normal and what is normal and what is extra large or extra small. Check natin yan. Paano nga ba sinosolve yan? So, using our example. Ayan. So, ang group data muna tayo. To use for or to solve for the standard deviation, the formula to be used is the square root of the quantity or the square root of summation of the quantity x minus mean raised to second power over n. Ayan. So, masagot na sila Princess Gwyneth Evora sa ating mga wait, check lang natin standard deviation daw sabi nila Kathleen, where the symbol itself gives you the standard deviation. N is equal to represents the number of observations, x represents the observation, and x bar is the mean. Okay, now let us continue. For the group data example, let us calculate the standard deviation for the given data wherein the data are 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Okay. Okay, so tapos after that we will have the solution wherein we will get first the mean. Para makuha natin ang mean, di ba? I-add lang natin lahat and then we will divide it to the number of observations. That will give you 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11 plus 13 over 6. And that will give you 48 over 6, which is equal to 8. From there, we will substitute the given. We will have now the standard deviation is equal to the square root of the summation of the quantity x minus x bar squared over n. And then we will substitute now the given to our formula. We will have the square root of the quantity 3 minus 8 raised to the second power plus the quantity 5 minus 8 raised to the second power plus the quantity 7 minus 8 raised to the second power plus the quantity 9 minus 8 raised to the second power plus the quantity 11 minus 8 raised to the second power plus the quantity 13 minus 8 raised to the second power over 6 or divided by 6. From there, you will have now the square root of 25 plus 9 plus 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 25 divided by 6, which is equal to the square root of 70 over 6, and that will give you 3.42. So, paano ko ay 3.42? We just simply use calculator to check whether this answer is accurate. So, 70 divided by 6 muna, and then kuhanin yung square root ng ating sagot, and that will give you 3.42. So, therefore, the standard deviation is 3.42. Okay. Can you check that, Joshua Pasion and Katlea Soriano, if the answer is correct? Princess Gwyneth Ebora, kung tama ba ang ating sagot? Paki-check nga sa calculator natin. If you have calculator at hand, paki-solve natin yan. Now, how are we going to solve for the standard deviation for the group data? So, same, gagamitin lang natin ang formula na standard deviation is equal to the square root of the summation of the frequency times the quantity x minus x or the mean raised to second power over n, wherein the given symbol is equal to the standard deviation N represents the number of observations, and X represents the observation, and X bar is equal to the mean. So let's have an example to understand this. The following table represents the age group of 100 grade 7 students of Mabinay National High School. We are about to find the variance. Age group, we have the same example as we had on the previous given. Age group are 11 to 13, 13 to 15, 15 to 17, and 17 to 19. The number of students under 11 to 13 is 25. How about 13 to 15 is 30? With 15 to 70 is 35, and 17 to 19 is 10. Now, for the solution, kailangan natin kuhanin ng class mark. Sabi natin, ang class mark will be the midpoint of the age group. That's why we have 12, 14, 16, and 18. Then we just simply multiply our frequency and class mark. So, pinakita na, sabi ni Joshua, sabi niya, ang mean is 14.6. Okay, very good. Natatandaan niya kasi yun ang ating mean, computed mean sa lahat ng ating naging example in the previous given. So, from there, you will have now the computed mean, wherein 1,460 over 100 is 14.6. And then to solve for the standard deviation, we just simply have, we need to just simply multiply what? Diba? Yung ating given 364 divided by 100, that is, it should be 33.64, and then you get the square root of that. Square root of 3.64 is 1.9. Ayan, did you get the process? Did you get the process, everyone? Ayun, mean daw is 14.6. Katlea mean is 14.6. Ayan. Pinakita na rin ni Joshua is 1.9. Ayan, ang ating standard deviation. Okay. Now, it's kinda late na. So, dahil medyo yung oras natin ay maiksi. So, ito yun na lang ay yung assignment. Okay? So, if the standard deviation of the dataset is 4, what is the variance? Kapag daw ang standard deviation of the dataset is 4, what is the variance? Ayan. So, try nating sagutan. Is it A2, B4, C16, and D is equal to 8? Or D8? Ano po ba ang ating sagot? The answer is 16. Okay? How did we get 16? So, basically, the variance is just the square of the standard deviation. Okay, so something like that. What's the variance of the first 10 natural numbers? 1 to 10. Ayan, 1 to 10 daw, sabi. Is it A, 2.87, B, 8.25, C, 2.45, or D, 3.16? Let us check your answer. Tingnan natin ang ating mga sagot. May sagot na sila, letter C daw. Yung iba doon sa mga unang, sa number 1 question. Number 2, letter B daw. Sabi ni Joshua Passion, Princess, letter B din daw. Is letter B correct? That is correct. Now, let's have number 3. The range of the scores 3, 5, 6, 4, and 2 is blank. What is the range of the scores 3, 5, 6, 4, and 2 is blank? Ayan, sumagot si Tutor Carl. Sabi niya letter B daw, 8.25. Ayan, ang husay ni Tutor Carl. What's the variance? Number 3 na tayo. Number 3, letter D daw. So, check natin ang ating kasagutan. Letter D ba? 8.25 din ang sagot ni Sir Mark Edward. Princess Gwyneth Ebora, letter D ang kanyang kasagutan sa number 3. The answer for number 3 is letter D, 4. The highest value is 6 and the lowest value is 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, so maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nakasama ko this afternoon bilang panghalile or bilang pang-substitute sa ating tutor Rose Ann. Nawa ay natuto tayo sa pagkuha ng measures of variability using the 4 ways we're in the range. We have the average deviation, we have the variance, and the standard deviation. So muli maraming salamat sa mga lahat ng mga participants natin, sa lahat ng mga online viewers natin na nag-participate sa ating comment section. Huwag pong kalimutan na abangan ng ating tutor, Rose Ann, every Friday, Matalino Day Friday, from 1:40 to 2:20 para sa Mathematics 7. At tayo, maya-maya lamang, kita-kita tayo dahil makakasama nyo naman ako sa Mathematics 10 mamayang 3:40 to 4:20 p.m. Pero standby sa lahat ng mga grade 8 learners dyan dahil susunod na ang grade 8 Mathematics Tutor. Ingat po lahat and happy weekend! Bye-bye!
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!